Hey everybody, Gisele Grenier here. In today's video lesson, we're going to be talking about the color orange. Now, I have to admit, orange is not one of my favorite colors. I'm not, kind of, on it. But it's as we're getting into the fall, we've got Thanksgiving coming up and pumpkins and fall colors. And orange is usually pretty well a base for that. The reds, the yellows, and oranges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about where it sits on the color wheel, and then we're going to make a color chart, as I recommend with all beginners, and even if you're buying new paint, you make a color chart the way I'm going to show you. And then in another lesson, we're actually going to make up our own orange, and I'll tell you some pros and cons as to good and bad on using a pure pigment versus using a mix. So for the color chart we're going to be making, I'm going to be using Decor paint. Pull out all the oranges that you have in your stash. Now, if you have, more than 10, I would say pull out your 10 favorite or your favorite brand, the best quality brand that you have. So I'm going to be working with Decor Traditions, Perronone Orange, Vermilion, then Decor Media Fluid Acrylics, Peril Orange, Cadmium Orange Hue, and then Decor Americana Bright Orange. Okay, so I'm going to put these on the side, and to save time, I've already laid them out on the palette. I'll just put that one over there. So orange sits right over here on the color wheel, and this is Perronone Orange, which for me is a pretty good orange. If I need something else, I can shift it, or I can make up my own. Now, a good thing about using a single pigment is that it's at its purest form. When you color mix, let's say a red and a yellow, you will never get a pure, obviously you'll never get a pure as orange as you would as a single pigment, because you're using two different pigments. But sometimes that's a good thing, because orange in its purest form is really intense. Okay, so I've got my little grid chart here. I have no place to put this. And I'm going to move my box of Kleenex because my allergies have come back. All right, so the chart that I have here is, so I did the Decor Traditions Perronone Orange, which is P043, and all good paints, you have them, the color index information on the bottle. Vermilion, Perronone Orange, Vermilion. Now, Vermilion is made with two pigments, and we're actually going to make that up in the next video. Cad Orange Hue, which is made up with 3 different pigments. Now, the small bottles of the fluid acrylics have the color index information on the back. The big bottles don't. You go to DecoArt's website and you can download the tech specs, and what that is the color index information for their paints, and then you can see all the information. What I do is I just write the information on the back. It's made up with 3 pigments and it's semi-transparent. And then we have the DecoArt Premium Acrylic Paint, the Bright Orange. I have no idea what's in this because they don't have color index information, because it is a high-end craft paint. All right, so we're going to go take our chart and get started. So we're going to add the pure paint, and I forgot to put white on the palette. So we're going to take our pure pigment, and then what we're going to do from there, you know what, I'm just going to use gesso, because it's handy. And I'm more tempted to go right into the container. I like using gesso, especially when it's, you know what? It was like 5 degrees outside this morning. We were in shorts and air conditioners on last week, and we're talking 4 days later, it's back to jeans and sweaters. The gesso I'm using is the Decor Media Gesso. It's the white, and I'm just using it regular. So let's take some Perronone Orange, and then we'll just take some white. Now, a nice value scale would be just to, add white to go all the way down, but you get the idea. I just want to show you the true underlying color. That's the way that you see really what's in the paint, with the true underlying color by adding white. Now I'm looking at that, and the first thing I think about with that is I can picture that in skin tone. Skin tone, not this much, but more white, but I can see skin tone being that. Vermilion. At first glance, vermilion is, to me, looks muddier than Paranoid Orange. Now, vermilion is made with 2 pigments, and we're going to be making this up in another video, which is why out of the Decor Media Fluid Acrylics, I only have the 1 bottle because I can make it up with my core colors. So this one here, to me, it looks like there's a lot more brown in it. Now, when you make up your colors, your color charts, try, if at all possible, to make them in one sitting. That way the lighting isn't changing. That way you can do really good comparisons. Make sure you have the white really mixed in there. And then, if you want, you can then load your brush with more white and come down here and make a lighter value scale, a lighter value, load more white. This gesso is too thick. I think I got the wrong one. And as you go lighter, you'll be able to see the tints of that color. Okay, so you get my point on how we're going to do that. This is, I'm looking at this now, and this is, I can use, let me try again. My mouth is rented. I've used this type of mixture here. I say mixture because it's made up with 2 pigments. I've used this mixture here in portrait painting, and you'll see why in the next video, why we can use that in portrait painting. But the Paranoid Orange is very, very bright. And then, let's see, what do we have here? I got these backwards. Now we're going to go to Cad Orange Hue. This is the Decor Media Fluid Acrylics. So how they made this, they took PO13, PY175, and PW6. So they took an orange, they took a yellow, and they took a white. Okay. And just going to... I mean, it is a bright orange, almost like a pumpkin orange. Again, it's something you may not use. But it's nice to see the differences. Again, very, very bright. So for my style of painting, I wouldn't use this. I may use this, but I really wouldn't use this. This is more my style. But it depends on what you're doing. It's not about me, it's about you. Let me put this more liquid white. More of a liquid. Alright, so we're going to go now to the Pyrrole Orange. Single pigment. This is the Fluid Acrylics. And then this has a lot of red in it. Similar with this one, is more on the red side, where these are more on the yellow side. Get a bit more white. So I'm always wiping out my brush and then loading white on the dirty brush to make my values. It's a good way to save paint. Okay, and I can go further. Off camera, I'll finish this one here. But you can see, especially when you get down to the really light tints. I mean, this is almost pink. This one here. And you wouldn't think about getting pink from a paint. From an orange. Okay, so bright orange, this one here. Now this is craft paint. I have no idea what's in it. Does that mean that's bad? Not necessarily. If I was, you know, painting a bunch of pots or doing something more crafty and not fine art, then yeah, I would go with this because it's more economical. If I'm doing paint pours or something, I would use the fluid acrylics because they're much thinner. But usually the majority of all my art is done with the traditions if it comes to portraits and, you know, the fine art stuff and all of that good stuff. And as well, as we're using craft paint, it's just a little bit weaker. And because, you know, there has to be an economy there somewhere. She doesn't go as far. It's still nice though. I can see this being more for the skin tone. So this is more on the yellow side, where this is more on the pink side. And let's see if I can, almost like a cream, off-white cream color. Let's see. I got a few minutes. Let me finish this one here. So if I want to, I'm just going to load white on my, or the Paranoid Orange here, and I'll just pick up some white. And let's see. The Traditions are super, super, super strong. If I had to make a value scale, let's, for example, with this one here, the Paranoid Orange, I can make a value scale, let's say 10 squares long, where with the craft paint, you see, I can't go very far, because the Traditions is so packed full of pigment. Yeah, this is quite, it's turning quite pinky. Yeah, this is turning pink. So would you think that you could get a pink out of an orange? Typically not. What else didn't I finish? The Cad Orange Hue. I didn't finish this one. I don't know why I didn't finish it. Too much orange. Pick up some more white. So just to show you, you know, how you can get your chart done. Let's say you have to stop your session. I'm going to get a close-up. Oh, dried paint. I'm going to get a close-up of this. Now, a few of you have been asking me to do a lot more close-ups when I'm doing these charts. There's a reason why I step back like this. If you get too close, you are so focused on one little area, where stepping back, you can see an overall view on this. Okay, so I'm going to get a close-up now. All right, so you can see that it's, you don't get to see it as a further distance. All right, so what do we have here? We have an orange that definitely leans more towards red. We have an orange here that leans where? It can only go one way. It can only go, the orange can only go towards red, or it can go towards yellow. Okay, it can only go this way or this way. So we have an orange that leads towards red. Does this one have more red or more yellow? Definitely more yellow. How about this one? More yellow or more red? I think it has a little bit more yellow to it. Peril Orange, the Fluid Acrylics Peril Orange, that definitely has more red in it. Then the Deco Art Americana, the Bright Orange, that definitely leans more towards yellow. So do you have to have all of these? Oh God, no. You do not have to have all of these. You could have a craft paint if you're going to do more crafty stuff, but more the fine art stuff. You can basically pick one pure orange, but in the next video, we're going to show how to make a whole bunch of oranges. That video is going to be a little bit longer, so if orange is your jam, then that's the video to watch. But otherwise, grab all your orange paint, and like I said before, take your top 10 best quality paints. If you have a whole bunch, I would suggest working with the best quality. That way you get a better representation, especially if the color index numbers information is on the back. That's always a bonus. Make your charts, and then what to do, if you're watching this on YouTube, head on over to the community Facebook page or Facebook group that's linked in the description below, and then post your picture there along with, you know, any details, aha moments, and the brands that that you found that you liked, didn't like, all that other stuff. So because YouTube, obviously we can't post pictures, so head on over to one of those other areas, post your pictures, comments, and then if you have any trouble, let me know and we can help you get started. Alrighty, so until I see you in the next video, stay inspired.